Hello again, travelers of the unknown. Today we are going to explore the wonderful autumnal world of one of my favorite pieces of media of all time, Over the Garden Wall. This video is going to be part waxing poetic about this show that I absolutely adore, and trying to capture some of its magic for myself as I make outfits based on some of the characters. Now, I'm going to be talking freely about the show in this video, so there is likely to be spoilers ahead. If you feel strongly about having a pure watch through, then I recommend you watch it first before watching this video. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's get started. I'll meet you in the unknown. We'll start our adventure with the Woodsman. Like many characters in Over the Garden Wall, the Woodsman is a complex character. As the lantern bearer, he does the bidding of the beast. But at his core, he shows that he has a good and protective side and does his best to protect the brothers as they navigate the unknown. From my internet readings diving deeper into this character, before the events of Over the Garden Wall, he apparently was a municipal judge who had big enemies, which is what forced him out of the city and into a country life with his wife and daughter. I then think it's really interesting that in striving to escape the powerful enemies, he gained the most powerful enemy of them all. Which then makes it so meaningful at the end of the series that the Woodsman finally realizes he always had the power to defeat the beast and was being held under false pretenses, being used as a pawn, and break the hold that the beast and maybe all of his previous beasts and enemies had on him all along. This show really makes you think.
For the Woodsman's outfit, I wanted to stay pretty close to his original character design. I have some black trousers and knee-high black boots, which gives that overflowing trousers type look. I don't know how else to explain it, but you see what I mean. And I think what would really complete this outfit would be if I had a leather harness to mimic the straps on his stick pack. But I have a stick and I have a lantern, so I think this outfit is a success.
Next up, we have a character from my favorite episode in the series, and that is Enoch, the figure at the head of Pottsfield Town. Now, this is a character we don't end up learning a whole lot about, but who intrigues me so much. Enoch is a large, pumpkin-headed figure who towers over the rest of the citizens of Pottsfield Town, and also doubles as a maypole type thing that the community centers itself around. Now, it is revealed that Enoch is controlled by a little cat inside the pumpkin head, and I basically want a whole spin-off series exploring this cat's journey to Pottsfield. Does this cat go by Enoch? Or is Enoch part of his Pottsfield character? Has he always been able to talk? How did he get the power of necromancy? These are the things I want to know. And I fear those questions will go unanswered. But still, this episode that focuses on him and the brothers' experiences in Pottsfield Town is really dear to my heart. It is the perfect blend of unsettling, sweet, and tradition that warms my heart.
For this character, I'm taking more of a deconstructed approach to interpreting Enoch's look. I'm wearing two types of dark green for my top and my bottom, and I think the colorful polka dots on the green shirt actually add that little bit of festival whimsy that Enoch helps bring to Pottsfield Town. To top it all off, I've layered a super chunky orange scarf wrapped around my neck to mimic Enoch's big pumpkin head.
Miss Langtree, the heartbroken school teacher just trying to teach animals how to read, thrust into the despair of heartbreak after that no-good Jimmy Brown disappeared after giving her a kiss. This episode gives me everything. Edwardian-style fashion, potatoes and molasses, and my favorite. This episode is a bit of a relief in this series that can be so serious at times. And this episode has a happy ending for both Miss Langtree and her father, tidied up in an 11-minute set. In Over the Garden Wall, there are dark times ahead, so you have to take the happiness as it comes.
Miss Langtree was a very easy one for me to do, no surprise there. This is an outfit I wear on the reg, so I was happy to pull it out for this character. I've got my Edwardian style blouse paired with a long skirt. I could have grabbed my gray skirt, but I don't think it has such a nice shape, and I think this gets the general idea. Tied a ribbon around my neck, and I'm ready to teach some animals how to spell.
Next we have Quincy Endicott, my Uncle Endy. And wouldn't you know it, I've been to Endicott House myself. Quincy Endicott is obsessed with making money, and yet recognizes his deep, soul-crushing loneliness that the money is trying to fill the void of. Because he has all this money and no one to share it with, he obsessively expands his house to the point where he can get lost, ultimately becoming the ghost that haunts his own house, or the ghost that haunts his neighbors. Quincy's story really reminds me of the Winchester Mystery House in Northern California. Now, the real-life example is sadder than this cartoon version, and ultimately, Quincy is able to form a connection with his neighbor and biggest competitor, Marguerite Gray, which helps him beat his loneliness, but also, with their partnership, will lead to more money, so, you know. I don't know what the lesson is. Not everything has to have a lesson, but I'm sure there's one in there.
Oh, my Uncle Endicott. Now his look is very ostentatious, as we know he is not short of money, so I did my best to recreate it with what I have available. I've rolled up my black trousers, got some long knee socks and some classic black shoes, and used a red vest to mimic his deep wine red jacket. I do have a frock coat, which got that double-tailed back, which makes me feel ultra fancy and like I am truly the niece of Uncle Endicott.
Adelaide of the pasture, the good woman of the woods, who is in fact not so, but one of the major antagonists that the brothers will face along their journey. She seems to be a servant of the beast and uses a powerful dark magic to convince others to do her bidding. I also have her scissors as a tattoo, which to me symbolizes the power of breaking a spell that's been cast on you. One thing that I think is really interesting about her character is that she can be destroyed by the fresh night air. In her room, in her own domain, she has almost unlimited power, but when that evil is exposed to the outside world, she loses her power. It's like in fairy tales and mythology, when calling a creature or a thing by its true name takes away its power over you. I obviously don't love Adelaide as a evil person, but I think the power that surrounds her and her place in the story is very important and very intriguing to me on a viewer level, on a personal level, and as I think about the story, she's really one of the characters that stands out for me.
I picked red on red with some black details to do a more modern and wearable version of Adelaide's outfit. I've given it some shape with a black corset belt and pulled out my witch hat. Luckily, in my craft supply, I already had an orange ribbon and some yellow flowers to give it that final Adelaide touch. And in my mind, this is Adelaide as a young woman discovering her power.
Next up, we have the Beast, feared throughout the unknown and the main antagonist of the series. He uses the oil taken from the Edelwood trees, grown from the souls of dead children, to fuel his lantern and give him power. Despite being quite clearly evil, he's very well spoken and in a way can be a bit charming or mysterious in an intriguing way, which he uses to get people under his power and to do his bidding. He is motivated by his own preservation and power first and foremost. Everything he does is to gain power and to keep his power. I would love to know the story behind the Beast and the lantern, but what's also great about Over the Garden Wall is that it doesn't explain everything and encourages you to come up with those ideas and theories yourself.
For the Beast, I had no choice but to go all black. But even though I'm going all one color, I wanted to make sure to have different textures and layers to make the outfit a bit more interesting. I've got a tight-fitting turtleneck, which is actually a dance leotard, and I've added my favorite wrist warmers to give it just a bit more texture. Of course, I've broken out my cape and my antlers, and there is just nothing so powerful as wearing all black and feeling good while doing it.
Beatrice, the talking bluebird. When I was watching Over the Garden Wall for the first time, I was not really a fan of Beatrice's character. And not just because she is this false antagonist in the story. I didn't understand her vibe in this like otherwise so carefully curated feeling. I just felt like she was, I don't know, she just rubbed me the wrong way. I've grown to understand her character more over time. No wonder she's being so antagonistic. She's mad at herself for causing herself and her family to be turned into bluebirds, and she wishes she could blame anyone but herself, and thus takes out that anger and hostility on those around her. But ultimately has that care and affection deep within her, which I think is why she is such at odds with herself throughout the series. And ultimately that care is shown as she tries to save Wirt and Greg at the end of the story.
I know Beatrice does have a human outfit. But I wanted to do a deconstructed, influenced version of her based on the colors in her bird form. I have a blue 1950s dress and a sweet cropped white cardigan, and then I use some blush pink accessories in a ribbon and a hair bow just to get that little bit of extra color in there. It's giving me very sassy, it's my party and I'll cry if I want to vibes.
Gregory, little Greg. Greg perfectly encapsulates what I love about children. Children know exactly who they are. They aren't burdened with the self-doubt of trying to figure out who they are and who they want to be in the world. They know it intrinsically, and thus they go through the world in a very genuine and true to themselves way. This is of course in direct contrast to his half-brother Wirt, but that doesn't mean that this intense self-knowledge is always a good thing. Because of his happy-go-lucky attitude and his innate following of his own desires, he doesn't always grasp the seriousness of the situations they find themselves in. The much needed comic relief of this series, keeping tough moments light not only for Wirt in the show but for us as viewers.
For this outfit, I really planned to make a pinafore dress, which is what I hinted at in my Halloween crafts video, but alas, my day job got in the way, and so we're working with this. Ain't that just the way? Even still, I'm really happy with how this outfit came out. I've got little teapots for earrings, and I made sure to needle felt a little Jason Funderburker and turn him into a pin, just to give it that extra over the garden wall reference.
Finally, we have Wirt, the protagonist of the series. In stark contrast to his brother Greg, he views the world in a very serious way. He is totally unsure of who he is and how he wants to go about the world, which in his normal teenage life, he doesn't always feel the weight of the seriousness of his indecision, but in the unknown, it becomes a very real threat. He much prefers other people to take the lead, even though so many look to him for guidance. And in navigating this world where he has no choice but to take charge at some point, he gains confidence and starts to figure out who Wirt is at this time in his life.
In lieu of a cape, I'm using this navy riding jacket for Wirt's outfit. And to mimic the red lining of his cape, I use my bodice to get that hint of red. Now, no Wirt outfit is complete without his iconic red hat, which I spent the last few evenings crocheting, and I think it looks great. I know Wirt is a more timid and unsure character, but this outfit makes me feel really good and gives me a ton of confidence.
I would love to know your thought on this series. I know I am not the only one among us who loves this show. Did you have a favorite outfit? Who is your favorite character from the show? And was your favorite outfit from my lookbook the same as your favorite character from the show? I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you could like it. And if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. I upload new videos every Friday. I hope you have a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!